We all want to learn and grow right, but who has the time to wade through endless pages and lectures? You want knowledge and you want it fast.
Well, you've come to the right place because that's what we're all about here. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into a book that's, well, it's basically become a modern classic for anyone looking to level up their lives. We're talking about James Clear's Atomic Habits.
Atomic Habits, yeah. If you're into personal development, you've probably at least heard of it, and for good reason. It really gets into not just what we do, but like the actual science of why we do things, and more importantly, how we can use that science to like hack our own brains to actually get things done.
Oh, yeah, totally. And that's exactly what we're going to uncover today in this deep dive. We're going to try to pull out the most powerful, actionable ideas from Atomic Habits and translate them into something you can use, in your own life.
Yeah, because let's be real. Who actually keeps this huge New Year's resolutions, right? I know I don't.
Pretty much nobody. And that's one of the coolest things about Clear's approach. He's not about those massive, overwhelming changes.
Right, it's the little things.
Exactly. It's the little things that make the biggest difference over time. The tiny, almost invisible actions he calls atomic habits. Like, think about it. Just committing to doing 2 push-ups a day.
2 push-ups, that's it.
Yeah. Or like setting your alarm 5 minutes earlier. Or even just making one short, focused phone call that you've been putting off. I mean, on their own, these things seem insignificant.
Right.
Almost laughably small.
Okay, so 2 push-ups isn't going to turn me into The Rock overnight. I get it.
No, but that's not the point. The point is the compound effect. It's how these tiny habits build on each other over time, and the results, they can be mind-blowing.
Okay, so this compound effect, it sounds kind of familiar. Break it down for me. What's the big deal?
It's like, have you ever noticed those tiny interest payments you make on a loan? Each one is pretty much nothing, right?
Yeah, but man, after years, they really add up.
Exactly. That's the compound effect in action. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill. It starts small, but as it rolls, it picks up more and more snow until it's this massive force.
Okay, that makes sense. So Clear is saying that if we focus on these tiny habits, we can basically create our own snowball effect for success.
Exactly. And that's the really cool part. It completely changes the way you think about reaching goals. Most of us, when we want to do something big, we think about massive effort.
Like if I want to learn a new language, I need to, sign up for some intensive course and spend hours studying every night.
Right. And that's where most people give up. But Clear flips that script.
Yeah.
He says, what if, instead of going all in, you focus on the smallest possible habit? So for learning a language, maybe it's just learning one new word a day.
Just one word.
One word, because that's not intimidating, right? It's easy to stick with. But over time, it adds up. Plus, it creates this underlying system that keeps you learning and growing in the long run.
So it's less about the end goal and more about building a system of these tiny habits. I like that.
Right. And the best part is, Clear doesn't just talk about this stuff in theory. He gives you all these practical tools and strategies, almost like life hacks, that are based on real psychology and neuroscience. Like habit stacking.
Habit stacking. What's that?
It's basically connecting a new habit to an existing one. So, for example, after I pour my morning coffee, I will immediately read 1 page of a book. You're using the existing habit as a trigger for the new one.
Oh, that's clever.
There's also the 2-minute rule. It's all about shrinking any new habit down until it takes 2 minutes or less.
2 minutes, that's doable. So instead of I need to exercise for an hour, it's I'll put on my workout clothes for 2 minutes.
Exactly, because oftentimes getting started is the hardest part. Once you've overcome that initial inertia, you're much more likely to keep going. And then there's the idea of making your habits obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying.
Okay, so remind me again, what are those? Like, what does it mean to make a habit attractive?
Oh, right. Those are the 4 laws of behavior change. Making it obvious is all about using cues in your environment. Like leaving your running shoes right by the door so you literally trip over them. Attractive means tapping into your motivation, maybe rewarding yourself after a workout. Easy is where the 2-minute rule comes in. And satisfying ensures that you actually enjoy the habit and want to do it again.
And all of these laws, they kind of work together, right?
Absolutely. Like, say you want to start flossing every day. To make it obvious, you put the floss right next to your toothbrush. To make it attractive, you think about that clean, fresh feeling you get afterwards. To make it easy, you start by just flossing 1 tooth. And to make it satisfying, you savor that feeling of accomplishment.
I could actually see that working. It's all about setting yourself up for success.
Totally. And one of the things I love about Atomic Habits is that Clear doesn't just talk about these ideas. He shows you how they've worked in the real world. He's got all these stories of Olympic athletes, successful entrepreneurs, even scientists who've used these exact principles to achieve some pretty incredible things.
It's like those stories make it all feel possible.
Exactly, because you see that it's not just theory. It's like, if these people can use these tiny habits to become the best in the world, then, hey, maybe I can use them to make some positive changes in my own life.
And I think that's what makes this book so powerful. It doesn't make you feel overwhelmed. It's like, okay, these small changes, I can do this.
Yeah, it's all about making those small changes consistently. It's not about some massive overnight transformation. It's about building an identity, one tiny habit at a time.
So each time you stick to that small habit, you're basically saying, this is who I am. I'm the kind of person who does this.
That's a great way to put it. It's not just about the outcome, it's about who you become in the process.
Okay, so to sum up, the big takeaway here is that real change, lasting change, it's not about making some huge, crazy leap. It's about consistently taking those small steps, day after day, week after week. It's the power of atomic habits.
Absolutely. And it's not just about those small steps. It's about building systems, creating the right environment, and making those habits as easy and enjoyable as possible. Because when you do that, the results really can snowball.
Now, as you're listening to this, I want you to think for a minute. What's one tiny change, one atomic habit that you could start today, right now? It doesn't have to be anything huge. In fact, the smaller the better.
And here's a really interesting question to ponder as you're thinking about that. How could understanding this compound effect, this idea of small changes adding up over time, how could that change the way you approach your goals? Not just your personal goals like exercising or eating healthy, but bigger things too, like your career, your relationships. Could that same principle apply there?
It's a really interesting question, and if you want to dive deeper into all of this, I highly recommend checking out James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. He's a leading expert in this field, and the book is full of practical advice and inspiring examples.
I totally agree. It's a game changer. And the cool thing is, it's not just a one-time read. You can keep going back to it, finding new insights and strategies as you grow and evolve.
So as you go about your day-to-day, remember, what's that one tiny step you can take towards the person you want to become? Keep learning, keep growing, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.